Take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss. Take off the weird ass jewelry, I'ma take good steps, then I'm taking off top off. Take off the fabricate streams and the microwave memes, it's a real world outside. Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo. Take off the Sandro, pay 5-day stay, take up for the meal, hella Fido. Take off the fuck flag, take off perception, take off the cop with the iPad. Take off the allure, take off the unsure, take off decisions I mad. Take off the fake deep, take off the fake woke, take off the I'm broke, I care. Take off the gossip, take off the new logic, if I'm rich, I'm real. Take off the shit mill, take off the dojo, take off the Birkin bag. Take all that designer bullshit off and what do you have?
You ugly as fuck. You out of pocket. 2 ATMs, you stepping to what? You out of pocket. Who you think they talk about? Talk about us. You out of pocket. Who you think they carry up for us? The world in a panic, the women is stranded, the men on the run. The profits are vanished, the law take advantage. The market is crashing, the industry wants niggas and bitches to sleep in the box while they making them out.
Take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi. Take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss. Take off the weird ass jewelry, I'ma take good steps, then I'm taking off top off. Take off the fabricate streams and the microwave memes, it's a real world outside. Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo. Take off the Sandro, pay 5-day stay, take up for the meal, hella Fido. Take off the fuck flag, take off perception, take off the cop with the iPad. Take off the allure, take off the unsure, take off decisions I mad. Take off the fake deep, take off the fake woke, take off the I'm broke, I care. Take off the gossip, take off the new logic, if I'm rich, I'm real. Take off the shit mill, take off the dojo, take off the Birkin bag. Take all that designer bullshit off and what do you have?
You ugly as fuck. You out of pocket. 2 ATMs, you stepping to what? You out of pocket. Who you think they talk about? Talk about us. You out of pocket. Who you think they carry up for us? The world in a panic, the women is stranded, the men on the run. The profits are vanished, the law take advantage. The market is crashing, the industry wants niggas and bitches to sleep in the box while they making them out.
Black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blickety black, blacker than black.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Y'all come on in the room. Come on in the room. I see 30 of y'all here already. Welcome. Welcome to the second week of Black History Month, where we are tackling a different movie. And Tyra, I blame you fully, so I'm going to bring you out first because I saw this many ages ago and I don't recall feeling the feels that I felt last night while I was laid up on my sick bed watching this. So Tyra, come on up. How are you doing today? And are you ready to have this discussion? Are you ready to talk about this?
I am awesome. I mean, is this not Black history?
It is. It is.
I thought this would make for good conversation. Everything don't have to be happy raps, you know?
And it wasn't happy raps.
No. To my service, I sent it to you. Said, Ashley, check it. Anything you want to change or put there, let me just say, oh no, I love it. This straight. That's true. That's what you said.
That's what I said. But this had to be my child mind forgetting and blocking out traumatic events because I don't remember this. Last but not least to the stage, y'all know her. Y'all love her. Kay Bly over at A Slice of Horror and the most YouTube that I know. How are you doing today? And are you ready to have this talk? Are you ready to get into it?
That's why I had to pull out my Wakanda Forever shirt today because I had to come ready to talk about this. I had to. You got to be strong-willed to go in and talk about this movie without wanting to just
all of the things. And y'all, we're gonna get into it, and we might as well not even wait. I'm gonna say hi to a couple people who are already in the building, just to prepare my heart and my mind for what we're about to encounter. And hold on, girl, let me bring you because what's going on with the spread? Hold on, okay. There we go. All right, let's see who's in the building. I see TG. What's going on? What's going on? Hey, Anakin, not Vader. How are you? Dane C. What's good? What's good? Hey, Critical Thinker. She says, "Hi, Ashley. Let the eye pop in begin." Oh. Be thou prepared. Be thou prepared. Hey, pretty girl Danny. Thank y'all for coming and being here promptly. We appreciate you so much for all of the support. Hey, everyone, make yourself seen and heard, but remain respectful. Say hello and hit that like button. Listen, pretty girl knows. Pretty girl knows what my block ministry has been strong over this past 24 hours. So yeah, keep it cute. This is a great watch. Was it, Anakin? What was it? Was it a great watch?
It is. It is. It serves a purpose.
Yeah, it served a purpose for sure. It did. Did I miss anyone? Okay, B1 Sister Soldier. Hey y'all, what is good? Hey TP, I see you. Hey CT. Okay, y'all. Housekeeping is done. We have talked to all the people. Okay, I'm going to start with you. Well, actually, let's go over the cast and crew first. Let's do that. That'll help my spirit a little bit. So this was directed by Joseph Sargent, who brought us Something the Lord Made and A Lesson Before Dying. Apparently, he found his wheelhouse in Black made-for-TV movies. However, this was not a Black man. I guess he just enjoyed telling these traumatic stories. For the cast, we have Alfre Woodard as Nurse Eunice Evers, child. Laurence Fishburne as Caleb, Craig Schaefer as Dr. Lewis, Joe Morton, Byron Douglas Jr. III as Dr. Sam Broadus, Uba Batunde as Willie Johnson, Ozzie Davis as Mr. Evers, and E.G. Marshall as the Senate Chairman. Kay, have you seen either Something the Lord Made, A Lesson Before Dying, or have you seen all of them?
I seen A Lesson Before Dying with
Don Cheadle, right?
With Don Cheadle, and I think I want to say Mekhi Phifer. Is it?
Is Mekhi over there? I don't know. What do you think about his work, though? What do you think about the pieces that he curates and directs? Have you enjoyed them, or?
He's definitely here to tell some difficult stories, is what I will say.
Some Black trauma,
He's here to tell to talk about some hard things. And you got to have a strong stomach to talk about hard things.
You do. And you know what? For what it's worth, not for nothing. All right. This is a story that needed to be told. It needed exposure. It was needed to put eyes on a travesty that has taken place, not just this one time, but many times in the U.S. over the course of the years. Tyra, what did you feel about this cast and crew? Were you here for the acting? Were you here for the actors? Were you here for the direction of it all?
Girl, I love the cast and crew. I miss when we would get a good old made-for-TV movie and it had heavy hitters in it. It wasn't like a stigma, like, oh, you doing a made-for-TV HBO. Like, no, it was like, these are some stars here, stars for us. We know, pretty much every single person on this cast, and it's nice to see them there. Laurence Fishburne was giving Ike. I ain't noticed that before. I was like, he just got off the set talking to Anime, talking to Eunice. But all right, like look at here now, woman, you gonna come with me? And I said, yes, he making my neck burn. It's giving Ike. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Even the fact that Laurence Fishburne was acting as executive producer. This was, you can tell when something is, a labor of love, be that as it may. Oh, Joseph here. Preferably, you would love for these stories to be in Black hands, and a lot of the times they aren't. But with that being said, I have seen Something the Lord Has Made and A Lesson Before Dying, and for the most part, you can tell that care and real validity is given to the stories. It's not total exploitation. You know where these movies could go, and the fact that they aren't there and you can see that someone was being considerate behind the camera and with the script means a whole lot. I like all these movies. I didn't know he did these.
Yeah, absolutely. I was surprised when I went down this rabbit hole. Shout out to Dane C for the $2 super chat. The Dynamic 3 has returned, Maine. All right, Dane. We appreciate you.
Don't forget the Maine at the end, that Terrence Howard Maine.
Maine.
Okay, so starting with you, Tyra, overall thoughts after rewatching, because I know you've seen it many times, but you had to just freshly rewatch it. What were your
Oh.
overall thoughts after watching?
Why, Eunice? And it's not watching this. I was like, it's not completely right for us to zero in on Eunice because this
Yeah, it
was a
was.
collective effort. This was a collected effort as far as what happened to these men, and a lot of people were responsible. Even watching, I was like, I wonder why they decided to center Miss Evers, because we know who the real enemy is. We know who was really behind this. So why did we decide to center, the black woman, and vice versa have, the white judge and the council? Like, you wouldn't give the man they care. You let them. I was like, I don't remember this going this way, but it was it gave a lot of focus because there were a lot of men involved with this experiment. But I was just wondering why we decided to zero in on Eunice. Was there a book or something that I'm unaware of? I don't know. But this movie pisses you off. It pisses you off because you just see such a disregard for black life, human life. Like, these men were treated as if they were nothing and they were disposable. It's it's par for the course because you know that this happens. This still happens. This still happens, like, to this day. And they were just experimented on. It was just really sad that no one was in their corner or valued their life. I think this hits really hard because we do center Eunice, and you are expecting a black woman of all things to do the right thing. And in the end, she just doesn't.
She doubles down, as a matter of fact,
Triple.
on the treachery. But Kay, your overall thoughts after watching this recently? What were your thoughts after you finished this movie?
That we got a long way to go when it comes to science because ethics is ethics, and it was highly unethical to do that without their permission. For it but for saying it's for the greater good, you have to give people a choice. Maybe some of them would have actually chosen to participate in the experiment. You never know, but they took it upon themselves to uh, use these black lives because they know that they could for years, that with no regard that these men have families and people that care about them, that they took those people's lives because they could have been cured. They took their lives away.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, like the guy said at the end of the movie, like, what was it for? You
Mhm.
didn't gain anything that you couldn't have gotten if you wouldn't have done this. They didn't get anything from it. They just wasted a bunch of lives.
Mhm. And more than those that were in the study. And
Oh
we're
yeah.
gonna get all into the history of all of this because it runs deep. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
really it really is a deep issue when you do think about not just the 600 men over this 40-year experiment, but then you think about their wives, you think about the
Mm,
children, you think about there was so much more collateral damage. And you know, having the bad blood back then, it's a possibility that they wouldn't have gotten treatment. But what we find the issue to be is all about informed consent. If you're not going to treat me,
correct.
you have to say that. You
Yeah.
can't pretend to be treating me and then not. But we'll get all into the sticks of it. But the synopsis for Miss Evers Boys. When Nurse Eunice Rivers, Alfre Woodard, is chosen to facilitate a program intended to curb syphilis rates among African Americans in rural Alabama, she's gratified to be able to serve her community. Over time, however, the study becomes twisted into a shocking human experiment in which patients are systematically denied much needed medicine. Decades after the fact, Evers is called before a Senate committee to testify as to what really happened during the infamous Tuskegee study. And Jesus. we learn, well, if you dig deep, because of course I had to go down the rabbit hole, but the real Tuskegee study was initially formed as exactly what it was, exactly what we see it executed as ultimately in the film. The film diverts in that you believe that from the beginning, you know, they were under the impression that no, we are treating these black men like you're getting government funding to cure bad blood in Macon County, Alabama, and that's what it is, right? And then eventually we find out the government's ulterior motives. Well, no, there was no, there was really no cloak and dagger in the original study. This was really planned out, and we'll go into the other studies that, you know, were the predecessors to this. But again, it was an effort. What they're pushing both in real life and in the movie is that this was about showing that black people and white people are the same. That the point of this experiment is that STDs, venereal disease, affects black men the same way as white men, because for whatever, you know, crazy propaganda, they were pushing that black men were inferior. Black people were inferior as a race, so they got sicker. Tyra, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on the original study, and were you surprised at how they changed it for the dramatization of it all?
I wasn't surprised. You know, they're going to tweak certain things. It was Alfre Woodard. They wasn't about to do it like that. But I don't think it was necessary because, I mean, it is what it is. The story is quite tragic. I wish they would have kept it the same because the outcome was the same. You still, you know, I didn't like that they tried to give her sympathy, you know, make her like, well, you know, she has a dilemma. She's actually a really good person. Like, no. Like leave it, you know, as be. They got and sent a black woman to do their bidding. Like,
Mhm.
and you agreed to it, girl. Why? It's kind of the same that I feel when we get into something like Judas and the Black Messiah, which I love, but it was like, why are we centering the what is that man's name who did the whole setup? I can't even remember his name right now. But Lakeith, we are centering Lakeith in that story instead of Fred Hampton, and I don't know why we decided to do that. Why are we giving this character who clearly has, you know, evil intent and was standing righteous in it all the way up until the day they died, and by the choices they made, much like Miss Evers here, we don't need to have them be a sympathetic character. Stand on what you did and why you wanted. You know, you thought this was what she kept saying in this film. This is she was going up that hill. I'm going up this mountain to save my marriage. You was going up this hill for progress and for your own personal interests, along with other doctors, black people alike. And you need to, you know, own up to that. But it says a whole lot that they knew to get really into that community and gain trust. We gonna send the black woman.
Yeah, to do the job. And that's what I think makes her character so duplicitous in my mind, because it's you recruited these men. And that's very much true. She went out into the communities to these sharecroppers and got them to sign up because she was a black woman, the person that's supposed to nurture in the community, the one that you can trust, and invite them into this study and then basically lie to them the entire time. Kay, when you watched this movie for the first time all those years ago, was this your first time hearing about the Tuskegee study, or did this actually open your eyes to it? And what are your thoughts in general?
Oh, you know, I've been knew about this study. I went down the rabbit hole of this a long time ago, and this experiment has had a lasting effect on the black community to the point that many of us do not trust the healthcare system,
Mhm.
which harms us because it blocks a good bit of us, especially our men, from getting proper health care for stuff that they should have gotten in front of, from things that are preventative. When they hear about stuff like this, it makes people untrustworthy, and that's why a lot of, especially our elders, do not go to the doctor until they're about to keel over, and
Mhm.
it's too late, because they knew when this was happening. People knew the word spread, and they knew this was going on, and they knew it was a government setup. And it's like, how do you trust the government when they will plant people in your own community to lie
Mhm.
to you?
Absolutely. And just like well, we'll get deeper into that. But yeah, absolutely. Because Caleb was right about this, and I know you say he's given Ike. over there, Tyra.
He
I was
was.
here for Caleb. He said, I don't trust them
I
people. I
was.
trust the government.
Stand on business. Stand on business.
Oh gosh, the real Miss Evers, Eunice Verdell Rivers Laurie, because and I'm gonna try to be as respectful as I can be, but this lady wasn't no lonely spinster. Damn it, she got married. Like I don't know why they had to try to make it feel like she was this martyr who gave up on the love of her life to treat her Miss Evers boys. Girl, an African American nurse who worked in the state of Alabama. She's known for her work as one of the nurses of the U.S. Public Health Service syphilis studies in Macon County from 1932 to 1972, which is arguably the most infamous biomedical research study in history. To me, she was the absolute worst. I cannot, again, I can't get my mind around the idea. And even in the film, when we see, oh boy, the dancing one, played by Babatunde, when
Yes.
Smiley, what his name is, yeah. But when he's like, when Caleb is trying to literally take him because he didn't already sign up for the military and they didn't got him the shot. He said, I got mine. I'm waiting
I
for you
know.
to get yours.
Boom.
And she's like, no, it'll make his heart explode. I'm like, now what was the purpose of that? Because at that by this
Girl.
time, she knows that they are not treating. Now, I will say this. That in 1932 there was no penicillin, right? So there was no cure for syphilis, but they did have treatments. They had the mercury ointments, is what you see them rubbing on their backs in the very beginning, and they even took those kind of, I don't want to say palliative treatments, but let me make you more comfortable treatments. They even took those away. Kay, I want to start with you. How are you wrapping your head around Miss Evers, and what are your thoughts? Like I just really want to know it's not just me feeling some type of way.
This this is what this lady was so self-righteous and guilt-ridden because she claimed that she was dedicating her life to the world of medicine and science and doing her due diligence as a nurse to care for these men when all she was doing was easing her guilt.
Mm-hmm.
She only stayed with the men because she knew she ruined their lives.
Mm-hmm.
When she had the opportunity to be real with them, when she had the opportunity to tell them the truth, when she had the opportunity to help those men. And she just kept playing along with them just to be and the thing is she played that character of we friends and I'm here to care for you just like your mama or your auntie was like you know Miss Evers, Mama Evers. I'm here, you know, I'm here to care, to be that caregiver, that mammy character. I'm here of service to you all and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that lady is the devil the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Knowing she's not treating you, watching you die one by one, holding your hand as you go out this earth,
It's
but never once saying, let me call somebody, let me be the whistle. And we'll get to who the real whistleblower
Mhm.
was in real life. Tyra, talk to me about your thoughts. Like I said, I'm trying to be respectable.
Girl, we ain't gotta be respectful to this heifer. She dead and gone. She dead and gone. She lived a full life. Unlike some of the other men, she lived a full life. Like it's the need, it's the proximity to whiteness for me. Because that seemed like that was prioritized. It's the proximity to whiteness that you think is gonna elevate you. It's the being a credit to your race. Those type of conversations. Those will, you know, for the greater good, you know, sacrifices have to be made. Which are you out your damn mind?
Mhm.
Are you out of your mind? Like
You
what
stand right there proud in the center
girl,
of them. Proud.
girl that's what pisses me off. I don't like that it was painted that, you know, I'm just, you know, unbeknownst to me, I thought I was doing good. I thought I was doing the right thing up until a certain moment. And then by that time, it was too late. You always knew you weren't doing the right thing. And you continued because you, just like the rest of those white men, you wanted to elevate your station and your status off the blacks of some dead black men. Okay.
That lady burning in hell right
I
now.
can't say what I want to say, but like, ma'am, are you that? It's just crazy. But I don't. I'm not mad at it because don't just always assume that, you know, skin folks is just automatically kin folks because they're not. You have this lady even way back then, knowing that the white folks could give a damn, regardless of your education, your status, they could give a damn. They use you just like you were trying to use those black men. You were
Absolutely.
used.
But comfortable in it. Yeah.
Girl, real comfortable, way too comfortable. That mammy approach, that come. I even hate it just to see her, when she's in there with the doctors. Oh, is it the left cord of the heart of the coronary? And then as soon as we get the blood, hey now, all we gonna do is get a little blood. You got bad blood. It's in your bad knees and your bad ding. Your stuff ain't gonna work. Like, oh, okay, like don't dumb down.
Yeah. Oh,
Don't dumb down the little petty conversation
okay.
for me.
You doing so good, baby, and these grown men, like literally, like, oh, baby, you're doing so good, and they do unnecessary spinal taps.
I was gonna say it was a spinal tap for me because
and I had one of those, and those ain't no joke. Miss Evers is burning in hell, y'all, because
like I pray she found some mercy and forgiveness on her way out, but damn it, she was a villain, and I don't.
On her way, she was a villain till her last breath, I believe. She was still probably talking about let's rub some lemon oil or whatever. Exactly.
Because when she said it was in the committee talking about, yeah, he's a good man. I don't care what I know what y'all say about him, but he was a good man. We cared for those men. Girl, you killed those men.
Yeah,
but
let's tell herself to sleep at night.
But let's get into the movie, and it was shedding light, right? And so again, the premise of this is that we are walking through the black doctor, the black nurse, along with this white physician who ran the Tuskegee study in Macon County, Alabama, where she personally went farm by farm and recruited. I think in ultimately there were over 600 people in the study, but the first group was like the Miss Evers boys, right? And the idea was to get a certain control group, right? People that were negative for bad blood or syphilis. Mind you, everything they called back then bad blood is if you was sick. You got that nasty woman disease, right? That's what they were considering bad blood. And so they go
VD for in old school language.
Yeah. Yeah. And my thing is, and I want to know from you before we kind of get off deep into this, I'm going to talk about another study a little bit later in a couple slides that was in Guatemala, where the U.S. government knowingly infected people. I'm of the mind, and it's not in any paperwork when I went down my rabbit hole for Tuskegee. But Kay, I'm going to start with you. Do you think they actually gave some of these men the SIF? Or do you think all these people just had it automatically? I'm just curious. I mean,
now you know. I believe they did that to them koalas too. In Australia, how koalas end up with STDs? Tell me that. How did they get them? Somebody gave it to them, passed it around just so they could use it for scientific research.
Mm-hmm. Tyra?
Hell yeah. Absolutely. That's the main thing that came into my head when we're going to test, and they was pricking Lawrence's finger. I said, that's a very easy way to get your results. If they didn't have it, they got it now. Like, of course. Absolutely. Ain't no way in hell all the men rolled up in their syphilis ready. The lies you tell. Hardly.
So let's get into it. What do you think the biggest positive or the biggest purpose of the movie was? Do you think it was about shedding light on the situation? Do you think it was about rage baiting? Because honestly, I was so pissed off and uncomfortable watching the entire thing. It literally just, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't expect to have this much of a visceral reaction to it. So what was the point? Is this all about educating the masses and shedding light on something horrible that was done? Tyra, talk to me about just the purpose of this movie.
I think it was a little bit of both, because a lot of people don't remember these things, act like they didn't happen, or just strictly don't know. So there is someone out there who could see this and have no idea where we, black folks, we've been here, we've been new. Like, oh my God, they were doing these things. Oh my, and it is always an opportunity to be informative, but the way that they painted it can also be swallowed up as, well, it was their own. Like they kind of signed up, what it's kind of some implications to be had the way that it was painted. I don't think we focused enough on the big wigs of it all, and we did a whole lot with Eunice, but Eunice had a whole lot of backing to get out there and do what the hell she did.
That part. Okay, what do you think the purpose of this film was? What do you think Sargent's purpose was?
If history isn't accounted for and examined, people will pretend it didn't exist, because there are still some people who don't understand why Black people have such an aversion to the healthcare system. But if they don't know that this happened and where this fear comes from, it's just like, well, I don't understand why they don't want to go and get this shot. I don't understand why they just won't go and listen to the doctor. I don't understand. This is why. You need to know this is why. And that things like this are happening. And that this is why ethics are important, and why accountability is important. Because if we don't examine and take a moment to hold space for things like that happen in history, people will completely ignore that it happened and pretend they don't understand why we have certain reactions that we do, and why certain laws are put in place, that you can't just go and experiment and do all these research studies the way you want to. No, this is why you have to go through the proper channels, because there are evil people in the world who will do this to innocent victims.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was a rollover, they had been experimenting on slaves, and this was just like, oh, this is just history. We've been doing this. It's just disguised now as something medical because somebody's got a doctorate. All right.
We'll get into all that. So, guys, like we said before, this was presented as a treatment option because the syphilis rates in the South were astronomical at the time. And so the government decides they're going to step in, originally saying, we're going to be really treating these people. We're going to give you funding for that. A couple short weeks later, we go to the Capitol, honey, and we find out what it is. But as the movie opens,
This is your man.
Listen, this is your queen. This is our heroine, doubling down and giving an account. We see her before the Senate committee with a tear in her eye, just letting them know everything I did was on the up and up. I served those men. I took care of them. They were my babies and I love them. And I know you're giving Dr. So-and-so a bad rap, but he did what he needed to do. We were making history, Kate. We were making history when you saw her up there with these crocodile tears giving an account to this panel of YT men. What went through your mind, and what do you think of her being our heroine? Because clearly they want us to have sympathy for this woman throughout the whole thing. They want to make her complicit, but then they also want to make us have sympathy. That's what it gave for me. I don't know. You talk to me about it, Kay. It didn't work, but
They should threw her old ass in jail. I don't care. Jail, under it, all the way. No sympathy for it, because she knew what she was doing. Her arm was and the thing is, they may have coaxed her, but they never forced her to do it. They never threatened her either. They never threatened her. She just kept going along with it, because we're doing good work here for science. And she's just like, okay, like, girl, stand up.
sign me up. Use me. Send me. Choose me, Tyra.
Girl,
This is our heroine.
our heroine, she was going up that hill like Kate Bush. She was going up the hill. She was running up that hill because we were doing good. Like, I couldn't get into either side, because one thing the government going through do is throw it back up in your face and act like they weren't the wise, and like, we don't. How could you do? And it's just like, well, you're sitting here trying to defend what you, and then it's just like, no regret, no remorse, no nothing. You're still at your big age, as Ashley loves, your gargantuan age, as Ashley loves to say, doubling down on what you did and deciding who was a good man and who wasn't. Nobody here gets to play God and decide who can die for the greater good of the Black race. Like, these old hoes, I swear, get on my nerves. Like, but I will say that this was a choice for a heroine. We don't see depictions like this now. We really don't. Like, this was a freaking choice. When I tell you, we don't see this. You're either like all good or all bad. Like, I was like, I don't like Miss Evers one bit, but this is really interesting the way that they are painting this. It had to be, somebody deep rooted who could act to pull this off, because the way I could give a damn. Alfre would have
Yeah.
did what she could do. I tell you that.
Because it's very interesting, and I mean, and it's a character study also in how
Mhm.
you can have an actor come in, play this role of really this disgusting person. Because for better or worse, you know what I'm saying? But then have all of the appeal as this matronly kind, like I'm picking you up when you're sick. I'm coming to your house in my nightgown to try to save you from unaliving yourself. Like you care so much. Like I think Alfre does her big one, but she gonna act
No,
down every
I
single time.
think I think the best thing they did with this movie and her character was old Ozzie Davis. Ozzie Davis and the rhetoric that he was spitting out throughout the film, you could really get into why her frame of mind would be
Thank
on the
you.
fast track of you do what you got to do for yourself. Like who we worried about this? Like we trying to be mopping and doing floors and being a maid, doing domesticated work. We're not about that. I raised you better than that. You do whatever the hell you got to do to get ahead. Ozzie Davis was really giving that, getting on my damn nerves per usual, acting all justified in his movie roles. Sit down, Ozzie.
But acting down and being
Oh yeah, he
believable
gonna
and
act
being
down. I love
funny.
Ozzy, but the roles that he sit down, Ozzy, he was right over there giving Flip a purifier. Like, shut up, shut up. That's when he shot Gator in the kitchen. I don't got time.
And now we're here with a tired love story, unrequited and purely fictional, because the real Miss Eunice was married. She had a man. She wasn't. She had Dingaling at home. She wasn't sending him up north so she could take care of these Miss Evers boys. Kay, what did you think of the love story? Was it steam heat? Did it grab you? Did you believe Caleb and Eunice? Did you believe Alfre and Laurence over there?
She didn't deserve anybody with her behavior. He should have went on and actually found somebody who cares about black people because she don't. She wasn't one of them. Okay. This man went off to war to fight for the country. This man was there trying to help out.
Oh, we can't breathe.
Mhm. I was gonna give her a minute.
Sound real shook, Avery. I was gonna give her a minute.
I was gonna get a minute. I was gonna
She
give her a
probably, she
minute.
probably got to go out and come back in. The
Yeah.
best
Go on,
thing
come back
that
in,
Miss
Kay.
yeah, the best thing Miss Evers could have did was go on lay down for the cause and let him give it that work. Go on, take some of this syphilis, ma'am. Since you
You
want
know
to
what?
help, since you got your degree and you know everything, go let that man get you the product. Since it's so good, and so yeah, test yourself. Test yourself, but with all the black men and bad blood type situation, that's the best thing she could have did if she wanted to just accost for the goddamn cause. This was tired as hell. They had to paint it in some way, shape, or form that Eunice was giving up something for the greater good.
Oh.
If I wanted to, I could leave all your sick asses behind and go and live my best life with Caleb. But no, because I'm a good woman. I'm a woman of God. I'm a woman. I'm a Christian. Okay, I'm gonna stay here and nurse y'all for what we did. It's like, what is this? What is this? They really, really tried it. Like I said, this is what happens when you have good actors on board because you believed it. You
Mhm.
could, get into it. It's just unrequited love. And it's just like, oh, woman, I came back here for you. Like, I want you to come with me. Ain't nothing else. She's like, no, I'm glad you ain't get yourself over there and get shot in that wall. Like, I just can't. Like, oh, okay. Go to hell, Eunice. I'm sorry. We
He shouldn't have went back for that heifer because
that
she
Mm-mm.
a
turned
man
down her
like
own
Caleb wouldn't have went
community.
back for his heifer. He would have cussed her out for what she did and never looked back.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
informed everybody
She
about what
deserved to be cussed
happened,
out.
what was going on, why they needed to go get a shot and join up for the army because they weren't doing nothing and they was killing folks. Caleb wouldn't have went back for this heifer.
This
Sure
lady
would.
is this lady is on the same level of Nino Brown. Okay, you out there passing out turkeys on Thanksgiving, but selling crack rock in the streets and having children selling them and having men walk down the street while you have guns pointed at them and stuff. Same thing, but on Christmas I have my annual toy drive and I'm sponsoring weddings and stuff. She the same thing as a kingpin.
Child, Eunice said, "Well, it's been about 10 years. Guess I try to do something, try to help the man."
It's crazy as hell. And like
They
again, he
gotta
done
do
got his shot. Like he like I'm good now. And which was really crazy to me just watching the arc of the story
it.
because he's watching his friends die one by one. Like he's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get out because I told you I ain't trust the government anyway. Finds out that they're not doing what they need to be doing and in no way steps in. He don't blow a whistle, he don't write his
No,
congressman, does
trying to save
nothing. And I'm
Eunice.
just like, him?
Thinking
Him
about
who was ready
Eunice.
to fight.
Him who sat up there and Eunice in the same breath uttered, you want that medical book with all those big fancy words in it. You should. I mean, we could say, Eunice, give me the book. I want to do my own homework. She played it in your face, Caleb. Caleb definitely would have been a whistleblower. He would have informed everybody of the unrighteous doings at the Tuskegee Experiment.
Absolutely. And here we're going to get into worser experiments because Guatemala, and I'll say worser based on documentation that we have. And this went on in the middle of the Tuskegee study. This was from 1946 to 1948 because they got cut off real quick because what they were doing in Guatemala's syphilis experiment is that they were using prisoners, they were using children, orphans, they were using sex workers, they were using everyone, and they were knowingly, willingly infecting these people. They would infect the sex workers and give the sex workers to the prisoners who ain't been around a woman in forever to see how they would contract it. If they couldn't do it that way, they were literally rubbing the disease into their skin, like scarring them and dropping like the fluids, I'll just put it right that, into their wounds in order to do this. 5,500 people in total. And that's just the number that they've tracked. This doesn't count everyone else that they were sleeping with because, again, they're using sex workers to do this. Only 700 of them received treatment. And just so you guys know, as far as when somebody says they went, deaf, dumb, crazy, that's what syphilis does to you. Deaf, dumb, blind, craziness. Like there's all sorts of things tied into this. And this was government sanctioned by the U.S. Charles Cutler, the same person who started the experiment in Tuskegee, was behind this as well. So, Tyra, had you heard of the Guatemalan syphilis experiments before?
I had, but I assume with the count of the people who were lost that this experiment went on longer than 1946 to 1948. Like if that was the count, just for little old Guatemala, somebody lying about Tuskegee and them.
Oh yeah,
Somebody is lying. That experiment that went on for that long, if that was the death toll just for that, someone is lying. I despise all of this because these are just the ones we know about.
Mm-hmm.
These are the ones, that got a little notoriety and we happen to have found out about them. What about the ones that we don't know about? And it's not surprising that they would use prisoners, someone once again getting back to them slaves, child. Like, let's go on over there. We really can do what we want to do. You don't have any rights. Like this is
children, which is a brand new low. Yeah,
girl, this is disturbing. It's always going to be disturbing.
Okay. Did you know about the Guatemalan experiment and what do you think of it? And again, these are most disenfranchised prisoners who already have no rights, sex workers who are literally selling their bodies and are definitely an underserved, underrepresented community, and then orphans because no one cares about these people.
Of course, humanity ain't never gonna learn. It's always some evil that is on the rise because of this looming caste system that says if you're not at the top, everyone else at the bottom is expendable for our benefit. And it's 2025 and we still are living in a caste system. Still.
Very true. But yeah, I had to throw that in there because, like I said, I went down the rabbit hole. And again, these things are especially heinous, and we can go into, like Tyra said, there are documented studies from slavery times where live women's reproductive organs were taken out while they were awake with no anesthesia. Like they're the most heinous things have happened. And again, it's wild how they blame everything on World War II and that regime in Germany, but never took accountability, or it took 100 years to take accountability for what's been done here.
Actually, you put Byron Douglas the third on.
Yeah. Byron Douglas the third. Because if you don't watch A Different World, what are you doing? Get your life together and watch it. It's on Netflix now. Okay. Meet Byron Douglas the third. The choice that Whitley should have made. And I love Professor Wayne, not to go off on a tangent, but I would have been over there with Senator Douglas.
You know she's supposed to be a senator's wife.
But, I just had to implicate a black man. We don't know if Dr. Dibble knew. So there was a black man, but from what I've read and researched, Dr. Dibble wasn't involved in the day-to-day affairs. He ultimately ran the Tuskegee Institute, right? What it kind of turned into, and he passed away before everything came out, like in 1972 when the whistleblower came out. And so we really don't know. So I do think there were choices made, because I really feel like you said the heart of this is that Cutler doctor, these other YT politicians, because this, let's be real, this went on for 40 years. This was several administrations, right? At least, I don't know how many people got reelected during that term, but we knew it was at least 10 presidential cycles, terms, Senate, House, all of that. And they continued to pass legislation that would ensure this project would go on and receive funding. Kay, I'm going to start with you. What do you think, and do you know anything about the real Dr. Dibble? Why do you think they made this choice to make a black doctor kind of the face along with Miss Evers when they told this story?
Child, Eli Rowan always somewhere wrapped up in somebody's conspiracy. Every time. I think they wanted to paint the picture of, this is why we can never stand together, because we're always divided for matters that are destructive to our own selves. It's like we can never be a united front as a community and overcome these things, because there are so many split sides. Like, we're always doing something to ourselves, for our own detriment. But see, what they don't explain when they try to paint us as this quote unquote black on black crime is oppression makes you do those things. Of course, we're going to come down on this black lady because we know she needs the money. We're going to come down on this doctor because people already think black doctors aren't as smart as white doctors, and black nurses aren't as smart as white nurses. And so if you do this, it's going to make you smart, and people are going to think you're smart, because we need people to think that black doctors and nurses are just as qualified as everybody else. And that is that the same system that is hurting these people in the experiment is the same system that oppressed you into doing this to your own people, for the sake of you being less fortunate, or you being less knowledgeable, or you being second class citizen.
Well, and I think that's what I'm not getting super political, y'all, but that's what systemic oppression does.
Mm-hmm.
That's what slavery did. It created a divided culture, right? House versus field. Like, any way division could be created, or this idea that I'm somehow better, like whether it be in education, whether it be in socioeconomic status. If I have just a little bit more than the next person, then that all of a sudden makes me not like them. Not to quote like Kendrick Lamar, but you're not like us. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything that they could do. And I think it was strategic by the director. And I don't like that, Tyra. I don't. Because it was, like I said, in real life, it's not confirmed that this black man knew. Now, did he might have known? Maybe, but y'all don't know that.
I didn't know that. I thought I didn't know that nothing was confirmed. I just, because Eunice knew, so I thought he knew also. But even if that was the case, choices were made here, because you got old Craig Schaefer over here shucking and jiving and tap dancing, trying to make the patients feel good. Like, I went on down to the Cotton Club. Woo, like, yeah. We don't see the same pressure and implications put onto him the way that we have Byron Douglas III here. Like, really doubling down on, I did it. I pressed the button, and what? This is what we're doing. Deal with it. Grow up, Eunice Evers. Like, we gonna get to the mountaintop together, or not at all. Sacrifice is happening. I was like, what? What kind of what is this?
Yeah.
What is this? Like, the way that he was standing, 10 toes down for those decisions, it says a whole lot. So, unless we had everybody in this film being, no, it wasn't everybody, because that white doctor was there, and it was just, he was really in more of a regrettable state as far as the circumstances and what they were doing than the black people who were there standing next, like, I just the funding, and I was just like, oh, we have to do this. But you have him, he's just doubling down, and Eunice is just kind of there along for the ride until she realizes, like, we aren't going to give them any real medicine. Like that switch that he does when it's like, okay, there's no funding. We've been to Congress. You know exactly what this is. They have no intentions on treating these men. And then you opt for the placebo type situations and you're righteous in it. Like, give it to him. I was like, what? Who wrote that down? This is, choices were definitely made, but choices are always made when it's not a black person behind the camera.
That part. And again, it didn't take much convincing because this is when I knew they wasn't even fresh out the thing. It didn't take much convincing when he said, oh yeah, I know in a couple years we'll get funding for actual treatment. And he said, so you'll call it the Tuskegee Syphilis study? You put Tuskegee name on it. And then it was like Dr. Byron Douglas III had a whole change of mind. Kay, what did you think of this scene? And what do you think of kind of this really short-lived outrage? Because, and it makes me think it was for fake, because you're not that upset about this. Clearly, it took him 2 minutes to convince you to go ahead and not treat these black men.
Oh, just the concept of the good little Negro. Coonery and buffoonery is real. The jigaboos are out here. And that's what it was giving. It's like, okay, yes, sir, boss. You right. I'll do it. What else you need me to do? You want me to do some more? You want me to add some more people to it? I'll do it. Is that what you want me to do? Just to get a pat on the back and get that white approval. Yes, sir, boss. You got it. Okay. And they perfectly sought out this docile Negroes.
It was that speech, that propaganda speech before he like went in, and it was just like, oh, you want them to say that we're not as smart, we're not equal. Exactly. I was like, who are you talking to? Exactly. Who is this for? Like,
because exactly they want that white approval. They want the white people to think they're smart. It ain't enough that you're smart because you're college educated and you're a doctor. Exactly.
We made
they have to think that
you're on their own. We have something to prove, even if all these black brothers gotta die for it. Push the goddamn button. Like, what?
That's why I said Eli Rowan always somewhere giving a damn speech.
Okay, well, shout out to all of the people who are in the building tonight. We appreciate you celebrating Black History Month with us. But I want to let you guys know about something special that we do for members only every Saturday night. This week is Tyra's Choice, and she picked a doozy. So stay tuned, and we will be right back after these messages. I don't know what it is, but it's something about them Eddie Murphy kisses. I don't know. I might have.
What about them?
To see about something back in the day. I don't know. Every time I watch that, I'm like, mwah, mwah. Like
he was trying to devour Holly. She was fresh on the scene. Said, "Hey, how you doing?" For me, Boomerang is definitely Black history, even at that time. Even after they saw what Eddie could do with the numbers as far as an all-black cast getting into something like Coming to America, there was still doubt. Who's going to come see this movie? All these black folks, affluent, upwardly mobile, wealthy black folks, all productive and marketing. Nobody's going to watch this film. Yet, they did. Black
I'm
history.
just like I'm just trying to see what that be like because every time I see the clip and them lips, I'm like, go ahead, Eddie, go ahead, go for what
Oh,
you know,
you
bro.
know, Eddie was a freako.
Exactly. Eddie was Nick Cannon before Nick Cannon.
Oh,
All them kids.
moving on down the road, these actors was acting. These men, for me, were the best part of the film, and including adding Laurence Fishburne. I couldn't find the picture with all of them, but what did you think of these performances, Tyra, from the Miss Evers boys?
Girl, now look, you know, I be trying to. No, I don't, because you know I can't stand most of the actors that we got now. Like they can't act now. All of these men. I'm not sure about the gentleman in the middle because I'm not as familiar with him. But Laurence, Babatunde over there, these men are from the theater. These men are rooted. They are classically trained. And it shows like they deliver every single time. And like I said, like we say over and over again, it's about building up levity and becoming a true actor and building that resume. Like to be here with a film like this to when was this? What was this? 97?
97.
Yeah,
97.
all of these they were all kind of affluent in their careers to where you would think like, no, we're acting. We're going like it's these smaller roles, they matter, but the training of it all. The training, I love that. I don't care where Babatunde is. He gonna cut a rug.
Baby, listen.
He's gonna
And if
cut a
you haven't
rug.
checked out Tyra's review of Dorothy Dandridge, go over there because Baba Tunde's over there with
He
Dorothy.
is giving his Nicholas brothers like these men are immensely talented and it shows. But you have to be talented to give a soul to a film like this because we could have easily just strongly walked away from this solely hating Eunice and Byron Douglas III along with everybody else, and it's just like but even though these men didn't get a whole lot of screen time aside from maybe Caleb and he, you know, they didn't get a whole lot to work with either, you still felt their presence and you didn't want these men to die. You was like, and even, I don't care how many times I watched this, I'd be like, child, go on, get that man a shot. Get that man a shot. Let him go to the army with Caleb. He's trying to go to the Cotton Club. Like you want these men to grow and you know prosper and really recognize Eunice for exactly what she is. But it was giving Black community, and we trust her. We know Eunice. She would never steer us wrong.
I think it's so challenging, and I don't have the other young man. Lawrence is there, but there's another young man that I thought. I mean, he played that role, honey, because I knew he was out of
The
his
one who
gourd.
drunk the turpentine.
Yes, child. But I think they all acted down, and what a good storyteller will do, which is why I think a lot of the movies we see now don't resonate or hit for me. These people did not have a lot of screen time, but you felt individually who each of these characters were. You knew Babatunde Smiley. What was his name on it? But you knew that he was chasing a dream, honey. They were in their competition. He said, "This is the first time I won anything." You felt like the desire. You felt the heartbreak when he was the first to really start becoming symptomatic. The other man in the middle, when he's on his deathbed, I mean, you feel it like, oh, $10 whole dollars, and I got a certificate from the government. Like you got to know. And then Caleb was going to tell it like it was. And I think that's what's missing now from a lot of actors and actresses. Like we don't, like they weren't given hardly anything to work with, but you still felt their characters, who they were and what the story was.
Not you bringing up that raggedy ass certificate. The way that pissed me off.
Pissed me off so bad.
The way that pissed me off. The $10 was bad enough for your 10 years. 10 years. So you got $1 a year. Like you got $10 and a certificate. You got an award for dying and suffering. Girl, somebody needs to be held accountable. Like till this day. What?
Okay, what did you think of these actors and the performances?
Just shouting, who is this in the chat? Is that Rico with the you gotta coordinate? You gotta coordinate. That comment got me. We have to think about us back in the day when it was, you know, you have to work twice as hard to get a half of what the white counterparts had. That it wasn't enough. We couldn't be enough. We couldn't just be good. We had to be excellent. Black actors back in the day all were triple threats. They were actors, they were singers, they were dancers, musicians. They had all these writers. They had all of these different skills and talents. And that's what we're seeing on the screen. They know they couldn't step on a set and be half-assed because they know if their foot touched a set, it was because they earned their place and it was because they had an amazing skill set, whether people gave them credit for it or not, because they know to earn their place, they worked hella hard to get there. And it shows in the screen, all of their training and experience and knowledge and talent and creativity. And sometimes that's what's missing is that people are no longer believing in the triple threat and they're no longer feel like they're as hungry as these people were. There was no social media. There was no interwebs back then. And Hollywood was one route. It wasn't just. It wasn't like, oh, there's Black Hollywood in Atlanta. You got L.A. and you got New York and you got Miami and you got Chicago and Detroit. Like all these, you had one route to make it, and you had to be the best of the best to get there, and it showed on screen. We're not getting that anymore. Times have changed. We are not getting these multifaceted, multi-talented actors anymore. That's like these actors were acting because that they need that was them eating. I gotta eat. I gotta do all this to eat.
I think they wanted to really truly give some sincerity to these characters because they could have easily been written off as, uneducated, descendants, one jump from slavery sharecroppers who didn't know any better. Like these, fools, they could have just easily been that, but they gave a lot of grace to these men, and you can't do that if you don't know how to act. Like the way that anybody, especially with the
be talented.
And then on stage, they were like, "Oh, look at this, Jim Crow style tap, like soft." He could have gave that, and he didn't because he knew like the line and where to draw it. Like everybody ain't talented. Everybody ain't got it.
This is it. They got these were triple threats back then.
Because listen, I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. When you do something and you bring a play to the big screen, because Miss Evers Boys was a play initially, you don't do what you did in Piano Lesson for Netflix. You do this, and I must set it right there. I think this is how you adapt a play to the screen and make it work. Because like you said, these characters had depth, they had humanity, and it wasn't for a lot of scene time. It was just because of the command that they had when they did it. But anyway, easing on down the road, because I just had to throw that in there because I ain't never got to speak my piece about the Piano Lesson. Anyway, the Oslo study. This is a study that actually preceded the Tuskegee study. And this is where the man got the idea originally. However, let's be very, very clear, there was no cure during this time. And this was what they call a retrospective study. So they actually had tracked several white men, I believe, that were prisoners who manifested with syphilis, and they studied their reaction. And that was like their baseline of comparison for the Tuskegee experiment. But again, it wasn't like these men were denied treatment. They were looking at it present, going back to the past. So I just wanted to throw that in there so people would know where that originated. I said the film was a success in eliciting complete
not me looking like, who said that? Like, hey, get out the who said that? Oh, it's Kay.
And I did. But yeah, what do you think this film succeeded at, Kay?
I think if their goal was to make us feel something, they did that. If their goal was for knowledge, to make us want to go and research this even further, they did that. If they wanted us to be more aware of just how slavery didn't end the mistreatment and the torment of Black people, they did that. Because some people think that just because we got free from the plantation that it's over, that the nightmare is over. And you said when this took the span of what they said 40 years, that means no, it's not over.
Mm-mm.
It's not over, and it still isn't over. And we got to stop. We got to stop leaning on that excuse. Is that, well, it's over? Slavery is over, and I don't know what that has to do with anything. Well, the torment never stopped, though. It didn't end.
It didn't. Tyra, what did this movie succeed at for you?
Like Kay said, it's going to give you an emotion whether you are pissed off or whether you're sad, because you don't want to see these men continue to suffer. They suffered the entire film,
Yeah.
and you just see it slowly, progress and get worse and worse throughout the years, and it's just really sad. I I think this is a success because it's going to always be relevant, unfortunately. In some way, shape, or form, these things are still reoccurring. It just may not be in the public eye. It's not as easy anymore because we're going to put you on social media now. Or you're going to be on 10 o'clock news. But these things are still happening. But it gives heart to the notion of, even Black women, when we go to the doctor and, my pain is here. Yeah, it's not. Are you sure? Are you sure it hurts that bad? Are you sure? 'Cause I feel like your tolerance is higher than that. Like, these stigmas and these things are still present. They are still present. And anytime I watch this film, it just reminds me of why, granddaddy didn't want to go to the hospital. And why granddaddy's daddy don't want to go, and why this daddy, and why your son now limping, just like, I'm good, I'm cool. Like, they don't want to go to the hospital, and people just seem to feel like, oh, it's just Black men, Black women. They're just neglecting themselves, neglecting their body. They don't take proper care of themselves. They lack insurance, lack purpose. Like, they just go. If you're hurting that bad, go to the. We don't want to go because we can't trust it. Like, I don't know anybody, any Black person who enjoys going to the doctor and has anything positive to say. Anybody that I talk to, they always have a certain ramification of going to the doctors. Well, I hope I just go in here and come right back out. I hope they don't
Mhm.
say, like, there's a stigma. These people, of course, they could be identifying something that's actually wrong with you, and you do, but there's also, and always that underlining of, you sure you might just be trying to, like, you now, in the age that we're in, it's just kind of like, oh, are they trying to get money? Are y'all trying to diagnose me, have me go and get all these, scan this and scan that just to, run up a bill? Or is there actually something wrong with me? There's always going to be an amount of distrust, but this is where it starts, and where it starts, and what happened before this is it's all just a line of just raggediness. And it's really unfortunate because we do want to entrust and go to the doctor and be reassured that we're receiving the best care. But that's not right, because I don't know how many doctors I've seen, and it's just like, I'm not comfortable here. I need to either get a second opinion, a third opinion, or go find somebody else who I feel is taking proper care of me, and they're really concerned. And it's just not an in and out situation because they could be the least concerned. It's trash, but it's okay. Y'all go to the doctor.
And there are good practitioners, and there are
A
ways to seek
culturally
out doctors
competent
that look
one.
like you.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
I was going to say
A
Yeah.
there are
culturally
doctors that look at
competent
you,
one.
look like you, and you can make those selections on any of your benefit things when you're looking at your provider listing. If you are comfortable more comfortable with a person of color, make those things known. Let the
Mhm.
people know so that you can find something. I will say. I did think it was interesting that and if they ever were to reapproach this story, which I think they should, I think it's an important story to tell. I would like to see the other external factors as well, because while this does a good job at painting the picture of what these Black men endured as a result of lack of treatment for their disease, these men were still in the deep South and still had to contend with Jim Crow, racism, all these other things. And I don't feel like we really got a grasp of really how hard their life was, not just being a Black man in the South at the time, but also being a sick Black man in the South at the time. I would have liked to see, I think, a more rounded expression, because I just think
Absolutely.
it would make it even more heartbreaking, and it would be the truth of it, you know?
Not just that, but let's not act like all however many of these men just instantly, oh, I have bad blood, I'm no longer going to be sexually active. I'm no longer
I
going
was
to
just
support
about
Oh,
to say,
girl,
because
we
what
don't live
about
I'm
the
no
in
longer
families that they
like,
societies.
created?
what about, all those things that trickled down
Hmm.
from you guys trying to just run tests on these men for data? Like, Crazy.
And again, in the movie, they allege that this starts out innocent, but when you found out, you covered it up and you kept it going. That's why these two, in terms of the movie, I can never forgive. Does anyone want to speak on this before we get to these other ones? Because I just.
You wanted one of them to stand on business. You
I was
wanted
waiting.
you wanted Eunice most of all to stand on business because she seemed to be the one in more so close proximity to the man and really concerned and caring and saw them more than just test subjects. And she never stood up. She never stood
Never.
up. She literally watched the party die. Like you watch these men die
One by
and,
one.
and rub Vaseline on their backs. Go to hell, Eunice, and take that man with you.
She's there. She's probably there.
Oh my gosh. Chosen spinsterhood and other justifications. Again, I really wrestled with this because I was like, are they trying to like make me feel something for her? Because I'm with Kay. When I watched it, I said, she don't deserve love. She don't deserve. She don't be deserved to be loved by nobody. So good. And even the daddy come out talking about that's a good man, Savannah. You need to go on and be with. Forget these people. You served your time with these people down here. No, Heffa, stay down there because you did this. Okay. Any thoughts on the chosen spinster? That's a lie because the real Eunice wasn't no spinster. But
I hope Caleb went and found somebody though.
they say
Did we get a report on him?
Never found nobody. He never married.
No,
That's what
I was gonna say they end off the movie like he just went on down in the depths, growed old, just never really getting over me, and just never remarried, never like he just couldn't get over old Eunice. Really?
Be for real.
I'm telling you, the only repentance that she ever could have did is lay on down with the man. Oh, you don't want to lay down, Eunice? Huh? You don't want to lay on your back, Eunice? That's the best she could have did. You go down with the shit with them other men. Y'all go on and suffer together since you so down for the cause and you care so damn much. Do that.
Well, let them tell it. She couldn't have screwed nobody, really, from down there because everybody had it. Let them tell it. Kay, did you have anything to say on that? I'm sorry, I don't know if you
No,
said
anything. I might have to go look up the real. I hope he found somebody instead of being upset his whole life that she devil didn't want to leave.
When I went down the rabbit hole, they didn't really identify any of the men specifically.
Yeah, I don't think he's a real character. I think he's fictional. He was just here for her to have a love interest.
Yeah, because I went down there. So finally, in 1972, a Jewish man, Peter Buxton, became the whistleblower after 40 years and several administrations. He said something ain't right. He said they were talking about it. And he was not only an epidemiologist, but he was also a licensed social worker. And he heard somebody say it and he was like, what? And I guess his study in epidemiology, that's like the study of disease. Like they get to like the root cause of diseases. That's what they study. And his specialty was STDs at the time is what they called them. And he was like, you mean to tell me that this has been going on for 40 years? You guys have known that these black men are infected, pretended to give them treatment and didn't? Baby, he wrote into the newspaper, got one of them people, they did it. And then November 16th, 1972, the Assistant Secretary for Health sent the termination of the study of untreated syphilis, the Tuskegee study. But in my opinion, it was too little, too late. Tyra, what are your thoughts?
I don't care. I don't care. Like, I don't know if this was, a self-serving situation or if this was someone who was really concerned and cared. I can't care because there were no ramifications for anybody. We did all of this. It was out there. The best thing that did do was not let these men, this death for over 40 years be for nothing. And someone knows enough to where we can even get this type of story. But that's all it was. It was, ended off being a story and of course a very modest payout to these families. But like, what can we do with that now? Like nobody paid for anything, just like old Eunice and a lot of those doctors. A lot of these people were still kicking and breathing around. Like if nobody pays for anything, what does it really matter? We just got it in the paper and got it around that Eunice was over there killing Miss Eva's boys. All right. And
This was criminal.
who's gonna do
This was
something about it
criminal. This
now? Who's
sounds
gonna
like a
do something about
criminal.
it now? Like somebody needs to pay, and if nobody's paying, then we're just, it's just in print. We're just reading the paper. I don't care.
Okay. Too little, too late. After 40 years.
I mean, better late than never, because she would have still been rubbing oil on them men's backs while they out here losing teeth and eyesight, limbs falling all off and whatnot, hopping around, walking on canes and stuff. At the same age as her, although they could have been perfectly healthy men. They doing all of these, giving them aspirin for pain that they ain't even got. She would have still been doing it. She would have
Talking
did it
about,
for another 20 more years.
we helped their mental health and their, and we gave them medical care they might have
I
not
thought they were
otherwise.
doing a favor, doing them folks a favor. Like, be glad y'all getting this. What were y'all gonna get in those backwoods? Y'all
But
ain't
they
never,
wouldn't
y'all
know nothing.
ain't never
They
seen no aspirin. What? Y'all ain't never seen none of this medication? Be glad that you got
They joined the
this.
military and they said, "Baby, you got this. Here's a shot. We got you. You good to go." Delon movies, it avoided all other circumstances because it was hyper focused on Miss Evers, her relationship with men, platonic or otherwise, and her internal struggle. Did she have an internal struggle? If she did, I didn't see it. It
It
wasn't
wasn't
much of a
set right on her soul, Ashley. She didn't feel good about it. She she did it,
Oh.
but she didn't like it.
She chopped wood for 30 seconds. That was the guilt that she had. And moved on.
I ain't want to say it, but they said it for me. Not until 1997 were the people given a formal apology. Settlement was given, I think it was a couple millions, but based on just the sheer number of people that were impacted, it was multi-million dollars, right? The money funded medical care for survivors and their families, but could not undo the harm. 128 participants died of syphilis or related complications. 40 of the wives were infected, and 19 of the children were born with congenital syphilis. And let's be very honest, this was the era of struggle love. And so we know, if you're of the community, that a lot of these Black men had multiple families, multiple wives, girlfriends on the side, was smashing and dashing all over the South. So I don't think there is a conclusive number. To be honest with you, this is probably well into the thousands that were impacted and affected, because also that's the other issue. They say, okay, it was only 600 in total over the 40 years, but you're in a very rural community. You're still having the SMECs with people. So you mean to tell me it was endemic and y'all started treating everyone else but these 600 people? That sounds crazy as hell to me. But Clinton got up there. He made an apology. They got that little settlement. It wasn't enough, Kay. Was it enough? By this time, was it enough?
What Kendrick Lamar said, it's not enough.
It's not
It's not enough.
It's not enough. Tyra,
It's not enough. It's not enough. What were these people supposed to do? What was $30,000? What was that? First of all, this number is hella inaccurate. So it's not like you touched everybody that you needed to who were affected. What were these people supposed to do with that? I don't think they understand how far this trickled down and how this affected families. Some of these families probably dealing with this mess today.
To this day.
To this day.
Congenital. So they were born with the SIF. I don't even know how they treat that when you're born with it. I don't know.
Like that rolls over, and then we give surviving victims $30,000, and the dead ones we chunk them $15,000 for their troubles, and we go on our way with a funky apology. I don't want your apology, and they always want to apologize after the fact years later. What are we supposed to do with that, sir? We can't do anything with your apology. We need to practice people going to jail. Put their old ass in jail. There needs to be a slogan on it. Put their old ass in jail. People act like because something was such and such long ago, these people have long out. I don't care if she 97. Put that old hoe in jail. Put that old man in jail. Put that old racist cop, old racist medical physician. Put them people in jail. Put them in jail. Like, people can't go to jail. Since when you too old to go to jail? Is that what it is? You too old to be held accountable? Like, well, the deeds are done. Like, who would we actually? I mean, it's just start at the top and work your way down and put them.
Hell no, they threw Bill ass in jail. You ain't nobody too old.
You know, we watched the
That
damn
was
Nickel Boys,
real.
and then none of them
That's the
people
one
paid me.
time
Yeah,
somebody wants to go to
ain't
jail.
nobody ain't nobody in the Nickel Boys paid either. Like this is common
Yeah.
practice that these people don't pay for their crimes. Like they die out without any retribution. Like it's sad, y'all. But that was the movie. That was Miss Evers' child. It wasn't nothing. Like I said, it was what it was. It was what it was. Anybody have any final thoughts on the movie? I'll start with you, Tyra. Any final thoughts on Miss Evers' Boys?
Um, I don't know. It's I can't believe that I'm gonna say we, but I was like we were watching these movies at like 8, 9, 10.
Too
We
young.
need some more of these movies. We need some more of these movies. I find it really funny what I get confused with what maybe I know about via because I learned it at school in the classroom and what I'm aware of because I saw the movie in the 90s.
Yeah.
About 60% of it is because I saw the movie in the 90s. I need some more of these movies out so the kids can know what's going on. I need some of these
No.
movies out. Like these are very, even though we were pissed, these were very necessary. Even with age comes growth. Because I can remember watching this as a kid. I was like, oh, it's okay, Eunice, you did what you could. Miss
I'm
Eunice,
saying.
Miss Evers, you did what you could. Go live your best life with Caleb. Like, girl, now she can burn. She can go to the hot place. If you want burning below the waist, you can go to the hot place. Something needed to burn as far as I was concerned. But I think these movies are extremely important, and it's unfortunate that they aren't made anymore. Like you said, even my recent video of Dorothy Dandridge, that's also an HBO movie. Like
Mhm.
even Something the Lord has made, that's an HBO movie. Why aren't we getting films like this anymore to tell the little stories that? Because notice this was an HBO production. Wasn't nobody trying to put this. Yeah, this wasn't that. But we still got to see it, and it serves a purpose. And I think we need to kind of revisit telling stories like this again.
I agree. I agree. I think we take for granted sometimes how much cinema shaped us and taught us for better or for worse. Kay, what are your final thoughts on Miss Evers' Boys?
I was wondering the same thing because I'm just like, my mom really was out here letting us watch Dorothy Dandridge, Miss Evers' Boys, Roots, Malcolm X, A
Mhm.
Lesson Before Dying. Why was
All of
we
them. All
watching
of
all
them.
of these movies? Like,
Child.
do parents are parents letting their children?
Mississippi burning, just mad.
Child.
Um,
Child. Rosewood. Listen, we was down through there.
yeah,
I don't
show
know.
these
Actually,
kids.
I mentioned it about us maybe sliding Rosewood on the calendar before February was like, if you was mad here, we need to leave Rosewood where it's at.
Rosewood is my movie though. It is because I feel like let's light it up. I just there's some
I would
yeah.
think you would be more upset at Rosewood than this right here.
I'm upset at all of them. I'm upset at Mississippi Burning. I'm upset at Rosewood. I'm upset at. I mean, there's a laundry list. A Time to Kill. I'm upset at all of them. Like we could go down through there though.
A Time to Kill was on TV the other day.
Yeah, I did it, and I hope they burn in hell.
Burn in
Yes.
hell.
I just can't. I just can't. After they shoot Sister Sarah down on her own porch, I can't. I don't want to see it no more.
Child, it was a lie.
They shot Florida Evans. I don't want to see it. Ain't nobody said them to shoot Esther Rowe and have her go out like that. Like, but once again, these are historic events. I didn't know nothing about Rosewood until
Yeah,
I saw the film as a kid. We didn't know. Like, we need these
yeah.
things.
We do. We need Black Wall Street. We need those massacres. We need Lake Lanier. Like we need to
Oh my
understand and know the story. Like yeah, we need to go. We need
God.
to.
Like a mirror.
I feel like because there wasn't just Black Wall Street. There were several Black communities.
Yeah.
Rosewood. There
Yes.
were several that were destroyed, and I think
Yes.
we have yet to get an all arching history of that portrayed in cinema. I don't know if it's too touchy, like they don't want to go there, but there's so many Black stories that still need to be told, in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah, I say that every single time we have some type of period piece, and they continue to revisit Black Wall Street as if that was the only Black Wall Street. I'm like, y'all don't want to go anywhere else. They're gonna visit that same day every single time.
Yep. Yeah, but y'all, that was it. Before we go, though, I want to give everyone the floor. Let the people know what you got going on. I will start with you, Kay, over at A Slice of Horror. What's good? What's going on?
Tomorrow, because it's Valentine's Day, I am dropping my review of Heart Eyes, which is a romantic horror comedy, all in one movie, gore filled. It's funny. If you need something to go see with your significant other or your friend group on Valentine's Day, check out my review. It's dropping at around noon time tomorrow for Heart Eyes, and Sundays are for Severance reviews. And next week will be the Captain America Brave New World panel, live panel next week for Captain America. That drops tomorrow, I believe. So make sure you go see Captain America, and we're going to talk about it live next week.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Tyra, let the people know what you got going, since I know you got something over there. Tell the people, friend.
Yeah, she been waiting on. She been waiting to say that. I dropped a video earlier today for introducing Dorothy Dandridge. Please go watch it. Go watch it. Support your girl. Y'all already know. Y'all already know about my journey. Go watch it. Support that video, please, 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 and let me know, what you think about Miss Dorothy's journey. But love to reply to y'all comments and really get into that, because y'all know Dorothy had a hard not life. Tomorrow we are getting into apple cider vinegar with a special guest. Can't wait to talk about that one, because baby, if you have not seen Apple Cider Vinegar on Netflix, it's only 6 episodes and it's an easy watch. It goes by really quick because it's extremely messy, just demented. Please watch it and join us tomorrow. And y'all already know, it's only right for it to be Valentine's Day and for us to roll up and give y'all a Fine Man live. Immediately after that, we will be getting into some Fine Man, so be sure to join us Friday for the both of those things.
Amen and amen. And y'all know Tyra's an artist, and she's sensitive about her ish. So go over there, support, leave a comment, so y'all can get some more uploads from Tyra. Okay, do
I
that.
ain't want to. No, well, since she put it on the floor.
I mean, yeah, do that. Listen, do that. And guys, please go run up my maths review upload that I dropped, and I will have my Paradise half season review up over the weekend. So just be on the lookout. Please make sure you're subscribed to everyone on the panel. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And remember, we're here every damn day. So just come back. You know what I mean? Come back and, have fun with us, because that's what we do. We appreciate you being here. And I'm going to leave you with next week's Black History Month selection. Because it's Daughters of the Dust. Next week is a watch along, right?
Yes,
so enjoy your night, and thank y'all for being here. Oh, join the collective, because if you were in the Discord right over here, you would have been able to watch Apple Cider Vinegar with me. Okay, it was an open watch. You didn't even have to be a member, so make sure you're joined in the Discord.
Y'all could have went down the rabbit hole and watched one of them days.
Yeah, you could have.
But be sure to join. I might.
Little girl, baby girl. What you watch?
Yeah, we watched Baby Girl. That was Nicole Kidman. Stop being naked, girl. We watched Baby Girl in one of them days. I think I'm gonna get in there and watch Heart Eyes with you guys. Maybe later on Friday night, just chilling there and run it up. I mean, if you ain't busy with your significant other.
What's your man?
Child, don't put too much thought on Heart Eyes. Don't expect too much
now. Now look at here, Kay. You had just said that it was cooking. Now you're gonna take
if you need something fun, but don't expect too much.
We just watched Companion, and I shouldn't have expected anything. But all right, y'all.
Oh, don't expect nothing with this.
Enjoy your night, guys. We will see y'all in the next video.
Black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all. I'm blickety black, blacker than black, I'm blacker than black, yo, because I'm black and I'm back. Yo, I'm black and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm blacker than black, and I'm black.